So, Dead Rising was this franchise, guys, that spanned over four titles. And I want to talk about this franchise just, obviously the past, present, and where we could see this franchise go in the future. And I want to talk specifically about Dead Rising 5. Is this a title, guys, that we could see an announcement in 2022? Let's talk about it. So, guys, in an article coming to us from Callum Williams of Game Rant, a new video report on YouTube documents the fall of Capcom Vancouver and the development troubles behind the canceled Dead Rising 5. While the likes of Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and Street Fighter may be better known, Capcom's work on Dead Rising has grown a fairly substantial cult fanbase over the years, allowing players to navigate through a series of fun settings while slaying zombies, saving survivors, fighting deadly bosses, and uncovering wonderfully over-the-top conspiracies. The series really found its feet as a tongue-in-cheek take on the zombie genre. And I agree, guys. I really enjoyed the first title. I thought it was, something pretty special, or really something different. And I thought that was really cool. Just like, mowing over, zombies with a lawnmower and things of that nature. I thought it was like just a really cool, interesting concept, and was just like a fun one to kind of see that kill count go up over time. It was something, very different and very niche in this genre. Discussing the development issues plaguing the potential sequel in his How Capcom's Dead Rising studio fell apart Game History Secrets YouTube video, Robertson describes exactly what Dead Rising 5 was and why it eventually came apart at the seams. According to the journalist, the game started production only a few months after development on Dead Rising 4 began, with a new team of completely fresh talent behind the game. The title originally was meant to star Chuck Green, the protagonist of Dead Rising 2, with the narrative taking place in the gap between the second and third game stories. Allegedly, it would have also seen players able to play Chuck's daughter Katie as a co-op partner, with the two having their own set of distinctive abilities and movesets. Sounds pretty interesting to me. Alongside this, the game would be set in the fictional town of Santa Catarina, Mexico, with Chuck and Katie working with a local cartel to secure Zombrex, the series' fictional zombie cure drug. It was meant to be far more colorful than the last two games in the series, running on a new engine and with vastly different combat. According to Robertson, issues came when the project changed focus several times, with the game originally aiming to resemble a Ubisoft title before making a large U-turn and looking more towards the likes of Dark Souls for inspiration. And they should not have gone to the likes of Dark Souls for inspiration, in my personal opinion, guys. I'm not sure why they decided to do that, but they did. It seemed Capcom wasn't a fan of the major change in direction, closing the studio down and killing the project for good. With previous Dead Rising games leaning heavily towards more challenging encounters, it would have made sense for the franchise to look towards releases like Dark Souls for inspiration, an effort to find what made its early iterations tick. Sadly, it seems that fans will never get to see what the project could have been. So, let's just talk about this, guys. I disagree that, leaning towards a game like Dark Souls for inspiration. Do I think that Dead Rising needed to evolve? Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think it needed to evolve and continue to grow with time, without question. But I just feel that it was kind of like almost like that perfect storm of problems that happened that really led to Dead Rising's cancellation. I felt that, guys, at the end of the day, they were trying to bang out too many Dead Rising titles too quickly. Instead of focusing on a really good game, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Rage, guys, and what's going on with Rage currently. So, obviously, we had the first Rage game, then the second one comes out, and they were already, while they were marketing Rage 2, they were already talking about Rage 3. And that's just not how you do it, guys. You've got to, be really promoting your current title. And if it does well, then you move on to the next one if it gets greenlit. When you're already looking to the future, that can be a serious problem. The only games that can probably really even do that, and even games like this are having issues, is like games like Call of Duty that have a new game every year. They can be looking forward because they have a few studios that are working on these titles. But even at that, it's still suffering as we go here with a game as big as Call of Duty. Dead Rising, I feel like they were focused on Dead Rising 4, but they still had some of the team working on 5 at the same exact time and weren't really there for supporting Dead Rising 4 when it released. And so there were all these different issues and things of that nature when the game comes out, and they're already looking to the future, and Capcom's thinking, well, this game is almost like incomplete, so why are we going to greenlight another one? And so I just think that there were just a number of issues between Capcom and obviously the studio, and whether we're talking creative differences or obviously it just wasn't lining up that Dead Rising was really going anywhere. That being said, though, could we see an announcement in 2022? Yes, it looks bleak, guys, that we're probably not going to get an announcement in 2022 for Dead Rising 5. However, do I think we could get a Dead Rising reboot of some sorts? I do think it's very possible. We look at titles, guys, that Capcom, uses, and some of their biggest titles, that being like Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, and things of that nature. But I still think that they're always going to be continuing to look at like increasing their library of games for their, for the player base. And I think Dead Rising definitely should play a part in the ecosystem of gaming in one way, shape, or form. It was very different. It was very unique. We really haven't seen anything like it at this point. Dead Island had certain things that were similar, but we haven't seen a continuation there for quite some time. Dead Rising 5, I think, is something that should happen, or a Dead Rising reboot should happen of some sorts to get us to that next generation of gaming, guys. Updated graphics and kind of just, hitting the reset button on Dead Rising, I think could be something pretty special. But what do you guys think? Do you think we'll get an announcement here in 2022 for Dead Rising 5? Or do you think this game is going to stay in a limbo state or a state of no return? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Dead Rising 5 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.